It is September 4th, 2025, and today the First Lady announced that the robots are here, which means the robot wars against the fake aliens are on the horizon. This is Inverted World Live. But we know they've been here. I mean, Elon built Lex Friedman how many years ago? That robot's had a pretty successful podcast. Zuckerberg's obviously a robot. We're surrounded by robots. But now it's official. But hey, welcome. This is Inverted World Live. We're glad you're here. It's Thursday night somehow. This week flew by. But we will get to phone calls in about 30 minutes. We're going to go through some AI robot stories of the day, see where that takes us. Elon is the word of the night, and you'll hear a lot of that, I imagine, about 10 to 15 minutes. And the link to call in is pinned in the chat on both Rumble and YouTube. We'd love to hear from you. It's audio only on your side, so your disembodied voice will be on the airwaves, sharing your strange story that you want to share with us. So we'd love to hear from you. Or you can call in and tell us what you think about the robot apocalypse, should that be happening, that the First Lady talked about today. No, she didn't talk about the apocalypse part. That's me editorializing. But I am joined by Brandon. What's up, dude?
Hi, everybody.
I didn't see you taking a sip there.
Welcome back to the World Inverted. I need my coffee right now. Do not judge. We are getting into the weirder side of things today. Like Shane said, last day of the week. It flew by because we had no Monday. And also because you were missing in the time-space continuum for 72 hours or something weird like that. But welcome back. Let's get into it.
People are still asking if I'm even the real me. I'm still trying to figure that out. Remains to be seen. But let's pull up this video from today with this AI Task Force Summit where Melania was addressing people, and then that led into this ridiculous dinner filled with all of your favorite robot villains surrounding our president. So we're going to get into all of that.
Now, you're going to have to be specific here with me, Shane, because we got a lot of shit here.
Yeah, let's see.
Are we looking at the YouTube video? Do we want to address the official Office of the First Lady
It's briefing? The long YouTube video.
Okay.
Where we'll start at the 15-minute mark.
15-minute mark,
We'll see what Melania says. We'll hear her talk about AI and the robots.
Also, how is this who we've selected to run this shit? But we'll get into that later. Let's get this going.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the White House.
Aha.
It's a beautiful event today. So, thank you for joining me to address this important issue. Secretaries Wright, McMahon, Rawlins, and Chavez-DeRemir. It's wonderful to be here today alongside private sectors, leaders like Mr. Pichai, Mr. Karishma, Mr. Wilson, and the many more visionaries from across industry. We are living in a moment of wonder, and it is our responsibility to prepare children in America. Cars now steer themselves through our cities. Robots hold steady hands in the operating room. And drones are redefining the future of war. Innovations of first-generation humanoids, factory automation, and autonomous vehicles have surged from private sector investment. Every one of these advancements is powered by AI. The robots are here. Our future is no longer science fiction. Data from the Bureau of Economic Analysis shows that AI innovation is clearly boosting America's GDP growth.
We can stop here.
Surely this is not...
Before we skip ahead, but basically the AI takeover has been happening since day 2 of this Trump administration. And a lot of this today is talking about AI education. There's other things. They talk about USDA, how it's going to work with medicine, how it's going to work with food processing, but a lot of education, which we'll pull up an article a little bit about a school that's going a lot, leaning into the AI. But like, this is kind of a continuation from last night's talk about how much you want to participate in this society. Last night it was about the shots and your children. And today it's about how much are you going to allow your child to use AI at a young age? Because they're basically talking about, not basically, they are literally talking about your children at a young age being around AI, using it. And I understand that it can be a really good tool to collaborate with. But I'm also a pretty firm believer that children shouldn't be around or have like smartphones. Young kids, you know, it's inevitable at some point they're going to have something, although there are alternatives. But to give children access to AI at such a young age, I think is going to have incredibly negative consequences. And it stinks because I really like the First Lady. I think she's a really smart woman. And I really am against this initiative to put AI in everything. And I mean, I guess it's inevitable. This will be the future. That doesn't mean that progress obviously isn't always a good thing. And this, I think, is going to have a lot of negative consequences. Something I talk about a lot is in reference to these people, and it's something David Sachs says, who we'll hear from next. He says a lot that AI is going to make children better, make them smarter. It's going to do all these like really good things. But look how much damage social media and the smartphone has done to kids over the years. I mean, it's obviously there's some good. There's some good. Clearly, it can be really a great tool to use. And maybe, you know, even going back to our younger days, Brandon, using MySpace, you know, I booked entire tours. I booked whole tours across half this country on MySpace. Holy shit. Be a great tool. I
always forget about it, and then someone reminds me, and I just have this flash of like multiple years before Facebook happened of just shit that happened.
It was good. You know, MySpace was great for bands. It was amazing.
Tom still has the same profile picture, I'm pretty sure.
Of course. Where is Tom? He wasn't invited to this.
The last I had heard, Justin Timberlake bought it, and then I never saw it again.
He bought it, and then they accidentally erased all the music. So if you had a band page on there, you go check it out, the music's all gone.
Nice.
Everything's gone. But I think it's been, the cons outweigh the pros with all that stuff, and especially how it hurts children. So I'm really apprehensive about this push to make AI, to like really marry AI to young children and their education, which is already completely flawed if you're talking about the public school system. And now the AI has been mostly developed by people who hate us, and it's also learning from us, clearly, but the overwhelming amount of information AI learns from, it pulls from big publications and big writers and thinkers that also hate us. So you'll find that the algorithm, or like Grok or ChatGPT, will lie to you, it will hallucinate, it will tell you things based on what they think it's fact because someone at the New York Times wrote it. We know we can't trust the Times. So then putting all that in the hands, I mean, I'm sure they'll make something different for schools, but even still, you know, the school system's so screwed, and now you're going to put science, history, English, you know, and I can see it being a good tool for children, but I am very reluctant. But let's skip to this next part now with, I believe it's David Sachs talking.
His last name is Sachs.
And I'm reminded of what President Trump said during that AI speech, that he said that American AI is like a beautiful baby that's just been born. We have to grow that baby and let that baby thrive. And he's absolutely right.
Are you sure we don't need to strangle the baby at this point and just let's just, you know, maybe not talk about it again?
This is the one time I'm okay with abortion. It's with AI. I really am.
We do it the Roman way and just throw it off a cliff. You know, I don't know.
It'll come back.
I don't think
it's too late.
Yeah, probably.
It's too late.
If we don't bring it back, somebody else will.
Yep.
And they've already concluded that we need to be leading the frontier on this. U.S. needs to be first. The same damn thing with the moon landing.
Yep.
you know, we need to be first. We need to be forthright. We need to be the ones leading the country on this and leading the world on this. And obviously, they're not going to digress from that demographic. So,
right.
Also, This guy's last name was one letter away from being Sucks. His name was almost David Sucks. But I digress.
Right about that. We have to enable our children to thrive with it. And let me acknowledge that when it comes to the topic of AI, there is a lot of fear out there. Right. Some people think that AI is going to take all of our jobs. I really don't think that's
they took our jobs.
Going to happen. I think AI is going to unleash a productivity boom like we've never seen. It's going to make all of us more productive. It's going to make our jobs more satisfying. And there's an online quote that's been flying around that says, you're not going to lose your job to AI, but you might lose your job to someone who uses AI better than you.
Yeah, no. See, we're not in danger of losing our jobs to AI because our job is to talk about AI.
Tim has told me that we're all replaceable, though. And he might, like in terms of AI, and he, like even him, and he might have a point, though.
Tim thinks that within about 2 years, our entire way of life, as far as media goes, is going to come crashing down in a Hindenburg-level inferno.
Yep.
And there will be nothing left.
I don't know if it'll be that apocalyptic. I think it's going to be more of like...
Not for everybody.
Yeah.
For maybe for like mainstream media, stuff like that, news, stuff like that, I can see that.
It's happening right now.
I think for like our kind of demographic where we're at, there's still going to be people who want to watch...
Yeah.
You know, people disseminating these types of information that still have actual organically grown brains.
Yep.
So I'm not really in fear of that, but I do think in terms of like grocery stores, you're already seeing it in fast food. You know, stuff like that. It's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen, and that does in fact take jobs out of American labor.
And this is like a callback to the whole learn to code thing that happened when the writers were like, "We'll just learn to code if you lose your jobs in whatever space you were working in."
Yeah.
But we also know now, as of like this year, they're saying it a lot more that they're training the AI to code. So the learn to code thing is also off the table.
Yeah.
And the robots are also building themselves. So he's lying.
These things are going to have the ability to tap into the internet and learn whatever they want. If you've seen The Matrix, we're talking.
It's what it's doing.
45 seconds in a program. I know Kung Fu. And then that robot kicks your ass, and it's the end of the story.
Got to fight back. Which reminds me really quick, I did see one comment in terms of fighting back. Midnight Toker, tell me you don't want a robot dog with a Gatling gun. I dare you. And that does fall into my theory on like if we're going to fight. The
15-year-old child in my head does.
Well, of course.
That doesn't mean that I need one.
But, however, if they do take over, it's like Terminator 2. We have to use the technology against them. Like the Neo-Luddites that are trying to take down those cameras that are in the UK that send a fine to your home if you don't have the appropriate car with the appropriate gas emissions. Those are the guys who are climbing the towers and nipping off things. They're using technology to destroy technology. So I think that might have to be, you might need that robot dog.
It's going to be moves and counter moves, and we've seen it. You've seen it in the Terminator. They did the same thing.
That's right. You got to use a Terminator against a Terminator.
You gotta assimilate in order to eventually vanquish that enemy. But does he have anything else?
I think so.
Are we getting to something here?
Let me see.
With David Sucks, hang on.
And I think there is some truth to that. That AI is going to be the ultimate boost for our workers, and it is important that they learn from an early age how to use AI, and that's why it's critical that our children learn AI, and that's why this program is so important to further AI education. And it's important, I think, to further it for school children in every part of America, every socioeconomic class or bracket, because this is really fundamental to equality of opportunity.
These kids are already glued to their fucking phones. I mean, I've seen tons of pictures, class trips, things like that, where they're at a museum, and some of my older crowd will know this. Back in the day, this shit was fascinating. Go to a museum, see something that's 200 years old. Washington, D.C., going and seeing like the original Constitution, stuff like that, visiting the Treasury. All of that shit was just awesome because there was so much history behind it. You could just feel it like in the air. Yeah. But it's also where your focus was. Now you have photos of entire classes of kids sitting in a museum surrounded by all this magnificent art from some of the best artists that have ever lived in humanity. And they're sitting on a bench with their heads in their laps staring at their phones.
Yep.
And not engaging whatsoever. Now, you are going to give them a gateway to basically lose all of whatever creativity and imagination these kids have left.
I agree.
They're not going to want to do anything for themselves. Everything will go through AI. It's already happening. You're just giving them more of a segue to turn themselves off as humans.
I've had multiple conversations right before IRL goes live with Tim and Phil about their idea on AI music, and they're into it, and I'm not. Although I understand, like, if I hear something that's AI and it's music, I'm like, okay, it sounds cool. What I don't like is that I believe it robs the art of the urgency of a human behind it. But then it's like, why do you care then? If it sounds cool, it just sounds cool. I like to see things live. I like to see things that are made by people, you know, and then the Phil and I will get into it about the synthesizer, right? And people are worried about the synthesizer.
Yeah.
But still, my take is when Herbie Hancock, or, you know, who was the first one to really go crazy with the synth? There's a bunch. I'm spacing on the name. But those guys were collaborating with it. Like, it was a new thing. It was really cool. I love it. And they were taking their talent to it. Whereas the AI today, when you're making music, you can just type in something like, I want to sound like this, and that. And then boom.
Couple of key lyrics, and there's a full, done, completed song. It drives me nuts. Having written from bare scratch.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes with suggestions and things like that from other people in the band. Hey, do this. Hey, try this here. This is the sound that I want to have. But the months and months of work, putting into practice, thinking, droning, before going into studio, trying to get that product as something that you could listen back to for the rest of your life and be happy with something that you actually created, the work in that is second to none.
Agreed.
And to see this, I mean, it was the same thing with drum triggers for me. That pissed me off.
Hated drum
You got
triggers.
a guy kicking his leg like this, and it's and it's like, dude,
Never
bullshit.
liked it. Never
bullshit.
liked it.
If you can't do it live, I don't care to watch it.
What about quantized drums? Look, we're already on drums at 17 minutes in.
Yeah.
It's different.
I'm trying not to slide down the segue, but basically anything that's coming into drums that's fake, that can't be replicated live, that doesn't
Yes.
expound on the talent of the drummer, doesn't delve into the creative mind of the drummer, the way that he thinks, the way that he acts, the timing signatures, things like that. I think you're robbing music of one of the most important and beautiful aspects that exist with it.
Right. And then even though we don't have to go down too much music rabbit hole, but like, I don't mind auto-tune either. I think it can be overused, but it can be done
As
well.
a style in rap, whatever. Like,
but
I don't
Daft
care
Punk,
if people are
you
like,
Right,
whatever. I don't
right.
care. Yeah, it gets annoying when everyone's doing it. It's
For
super,
sure.
super fucking annoying when your entire album is one auto tune after the next.
It's super annoying, but it can be a fun tool.
It can be, but also it accentuates an artist's inability to actually do what they're doing correctly.
Right.
Like, if you need to be auto tuned, it's because you suck at singing.
Right.
Sorry.
And then, like look at T-Pain. Everyone thought he relied. He relied on
the
auto-tune,
godfather
but
of
one of the best
auto-tune.
One of the best covers of a Black Sabbath song has no auto-tune, and it's by T-Pain, and it's incredible.
Which, good for him.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for not using AI or any bullshit on a cover like that. Thank you.
Thank God.
Like, that's what needs to happen.
So look, that's basically they're stoked. Real quick though, what's up with the covers on their waters? Are they afraid of being poisoned? Like, it looks like urine samples, clear urine samples. You see that?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if it's just because of not wanting to have germs in the air. I don't know how long those waters have been sitting there. I'm assuming
really
they're
funny.
room temperature. They don't look fresh to me.
Very funny. Worried about something.
That's
Worried about the
a
AI.
weird thing.
Yeah, but let's then pull up the picture that I sent you. Let me see what it was labeled as, of everyone who's there. And I don't know if we'll be able to zoom in too much, but I can look at this. Okay. So these are people who are at this dinner afterwards, after this big AI task force situation. Who's sitting on either side of the president and first lady? Is anyone out there seeing this?
It is Mr. Zuckerberg, and to the right of the first lady, not other than Bill Gates.
Why? Why are these people in the White House? These people hate you.
Also, Shane, who is not pictured around the tech table?
Well, that sounds like the word of the night.
It does sound like the word of the night.
What is that word?
Elon.
That's right. Why is he
was
not there?
not invited, snubbed to the tech dinner hosted by our president and first lady of the United States.
And his like arch nemesis is there, Sam Altman.
But
from OpenAI.
You've got Facebook
Yep.
and Microsoft sitting right next to the president and the first lady.
What? Like this infuriates me. First
I'm sorry,
of all,
Meta.
Yeah, get it right, dude.
Meta.
He's gonna sue you now. We have a guy who wants to block the sun, who wants to vaccinate people with mosquitoes, aerosolize vaccines, who really is as anti-human as you can get, while telling us he's pro-human, who's into population control.
Even though we keep being told that our population is collapsing and we need to have babies.
Yeah. Why isn't he saying that now? Where'd he go?
Elon's saying it, but he's not. Elon is not invited. That's 3 Elons.
That. Yep. That's
for those who are paying attention.
So that's 1, 2, 3, now 4 Elons. And then we have Zuckerberg, who was strong-armed into censoring anyone who said anything against the narrative of COVID. Like, this dude is a ghoul who has lied in multiple testimonies, who has designed his Facebook system where we have these whistleblowers saying this one just infuriates me. If a girl happens to delete her selfie, then the algorithm goes, she must be depressed. Let's sell her something. Let's tell the advertisers and hit her up. I mean, this is just crazy stuff. And also, he's embedded with the CCP. And just a total fraud. He's going to rebrand all of a sudden, like a year or two ago, with his little fro and his gold chain, and do Rogan again and talk about bow hunting, but he doesn't know what bow he has. And we're supposed to believe that because he looks like a Little Dicky impersonator that he's cool now.
Little Dicky.
Screw these people. And Sam Altman, man, I believe something super weird happened with that whistleblower that died from OpenAI. I'm not saying he did it, but something very strange happened with that whistleblower. I think I talked about that one last night. Why are these people there? These people actually hate Americans. They hate your freedom. They hate that you are doing your own research. They will censor you into oblivion, and they're sitting next to the president. Look, I voted for Trump all 3 times, and he won all those 3 times, in my opinion. But this is disgusting. But we should have seen it coming because we saw Project Stargate on day 2 in his office with this administration. And I just think this is a slap in the face of children. This is a slap in the face in all of America to have these 2 just horrible monsters there. I mean, and Sam Altman sitting somewhere in there, and Tim Cook. It's just, I'm surprised Thiel's not there, or Andreessen.
Lisa Su with AMD.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's right. So why embrace them now? Like, they knew if they rebranded, they would survive longer, despite, that Biden treated them all very well as well. But they knew prior that Trump was going to win. Obviously, it was in the air. They all rebranded, except for Thiel. Thiel had been with Trump since 2015, and Elon did his thing last July. And then all these other guys jumped on board as a survival mechanism, in my opinion. And now we have, Zuckerberg is building a data center that's like the size of Manhattan. So when I talk about fake clouds that are going to create that rain, because the Rainmaker CEO says we need fake rain. He doesn't say fake rain, but we need to create rain for the data centers that soak up all the water. I mean, imagine the amount of rain they're going to have to seed in those clouds for Zuckerberg's Manhattan-sized data center. These people hate the physical world. Like, they hate humans, and they also want to live forever. These are a bunch of transhumanists.
What do you do with a Manhattan-sized server center?
It's to run Meta's AI program.
And also to store massive amounts of data.
All your stuff. Everything. And it's like a vault of all the data. It's like a data version of that vault. I think it's in Sweden.
That has all the seeds in it in case we go apocalyptic.
Yeah, exactly. It's that, but for data. And
sounds very
these
similar.
are the same people, like Musk had proposed once, having a vault of all DNA in space. Thiel's got some interesting theories on that, and so did Epstein. Why? Because they're all transhumanists, and none of them want us to really survive or be successful. They want us to inherit the metaverse and rot in these little coffin apartments where they'll just feed us all this machine slop.
I can't even afford a coffin apartment these days.
I know. Look at us in this coffin right now.
Yeah. How are we affording this?
Well,
have you seen the housing market? It's fucking insane.
Someone said this in the chat, and they're right. I'm sorry, I didn't see who said it, but the proposal is it's UBI. It's universal basic income. That's what Yang has been saying forever.
Yeah,
but that's totally
dissolve
bogus.
the middle class, leave the upper and the lower.
The middle class is already dead. You know,
basically.
Totally. And they killed it.
They killed the rest of it off during COVID.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was, a freaking genocide during COVID. If it wasn't the old people that Cuomo genocided in New York, it was the middle class. They closed everyone's small businesses. They forced you out of a job if you didn't do their thing, you know, and these people were censoring you for complaining about it. And Bill Gates was smiling because he was a part of it.
Yep.
Why are these people
Corporations
there?
don't like that.
They don't like it, and especially the lizard people. They'll use lizard robots.
They were also very successful during this period of time.
Oh, incredibly! It is very much like. This is why I keep saying this. I've brought up on IRL a few times, but it reminds me, not that I was alive for it, of the business plot during FDR's first year in office, when corporations like DuPont, who makes all the gunpowder for every American war in history, or J.P. Morgan, they wanted, allegedly, to have a coup against FDR and install Smedley Butler, the decorated war veteran, 3-time Purple Heart winner, to overthrow the government so then the corporations could take over. It didn't happen, so they say. I kind of think it did happen. I think it did happen. No one got in trouble. Smedley did talk about it. He wrote the book War is a Racket, and no one in the corporations got in trouble, but they made a lot of money off war, and FDR was in office for a very long time, and it reminds me of these ghouls from Silicon Valley taking over the White House. Seeing these people around him, I'm having like flashbacks right to 2020 of these people being like, oh, you have a business on Facebook, but you said something like against the COVID stuff, deleted. You know, and never allowed back. I know people to this day, who've had way big accounts on Facebook who were, you know, banned forever because they said something Facebook didn't like. But now it's okay. Now it's okay because Trump got in again, and you're invited to the White House. I'm gonna take a quick sec, real quick, to read these super chats before I forget them. Matt Valenti, thank you very much. Is that why it's always raining in futuristic movies like Blade Runner? Microsoft is the name of BG's Pen 15. That's a good point about the rain. That is a good point. I think they know these things so far in advance, you know, that it is very possible. And then Andrew Lapincy, I hope I said it right. Thank you very much for the super chat. They, he wrote in quotes, are forcing contact with the future by destroying their past. In every era of war, mass casualties, UFO sightings increase dramatically. Absolutely. And it happened during COVID, which was a war against the American people, but everywhere. It was a war against everyone. Don't forget, you know, these like globalist elites who hate everyone, they were in France and trying to impose that crazy gas tax that led to one of the longest, craziest riots in French history with the yellow vests. They weren't having it, right? And that was a direct assault on the people, very much working class people. And, you know, those went away as well. And then Carnal, thank you so much for the super chat. Is the only way for a person to truly maintain discernment between what is our reality versus AI is to continuously engage with AI? And if so, aren't we, in that sense, on an inevitable path and the architects of our own demise?
Short answer, yes.
Dude, that is a great thought. And I think it goes back to also what we were saying just earlier about you kind of have to use the Terminator to destroy Skynet. It stinks. Like, I don't want to participate in it, but you also have to know it's there so you don't get completely crushed by it, because this is a more evolved, way more super technological version of like just thinking about boomers and the way they digest news, where they might just get it off the TV or the radio for their whole lives. And then the world just goes insane with the advent of, you know, the internet and social media. And so the way we digest news is way different than the way they digest news. And it's almost like we're in completely different dimensions. Even if we might vote the same way, they are seeing things through the lens of like condensed down, you know, Fox News and stuff like that, and what they're saying about NBC. Meanwhile, we're online, maybe too much so, but like at this buffet of media, independent media, the corporate press, just random accounts online, you know, on the ground, independent journalists filming things. So we're getting like direct access to that. and we are inundated with information, which also has its obvious consequences. But like, think about that disparity of information, the information diet, and then think about how it's going to be in just the near future and right now, of people who are knowing the AI, observing the AI, and people who are completely left out, and how easy it's going to be to trick those people with AI. I mean, I've seen some things where it's taken me a minute or two to be like, wait, was that it? There's someone, we pulled up the one article, the one video a few weeks ago of the guy who did the AI. Was it Trump or RFK? It was RFK Jr. talking about conspiracy theories, and it sounded just like him. And you don't really know until he's talking about the vaccine. He's like, and it makes you gay, and we're like, oh, okay, this is a joke. This is a joke. It sounded really good, but we are in that world because a lot of us are terminally online, that we know to expect it, but it's going to get worse. It's going to get way worse, and it's going to go beyond just like discerning reality. It's because it's going to be a worsening of an invasion of your privacy, because they will find everything if they haven't already, which I kind of think they do. But with the acceleration of quantum computing, of being able to figure out your passwords no matter what, which I think a lot of people already do, but it's going to get way easier. It's going to get ugly, and this all goes back to me to say this is a dangerous thing, all of this, to let children be around. But again, then the argument would be, well, maybe they do need to obviously know about it some, so they know how to counter it, like what Carnal was saying, with having to engage with it to understand it. But then, it ends in our demise no matter what. But hopefully not.
It's what they want. They want us familiarized and comfortable.
Yep.
To the point to where we completely secede all notions that this is bad for us.
Yep. And Synchrotron, is that your name? Synchrotron 9001 said passwords will be extinct soon. So true. That's why they're going to sell you on a Neuralink. They're going to have stuff you can implant in your hand. It'll be more finger stuff. It's the biometrics, sending Israel your license and all that good stuff, like on Twitter. So it's a very shady situation. And maybe we can also pull up that video of, what was it? Bill Gates at the dinner, speaking with the president from Real America's Voice. Shout out to Real America's Voice.
Well, I'm in the second phase of my career, giving away all the wonderful money that Satya's good work has helped multiply a lot. But I think the thing that ties my first career that I still spend some time on, because AI is so phenomenal, and my second career is innovation, innovating in health,
death,
in areas like vaccines or gene editing. And, the president and I are talking about taking American innovation to the next level to cure.
He just directly said that his definition of innovation is vaccines and whatnot, and now we're talking about taking innovation to the next level, which basically just read in my mind, we're taking vaccines to the next level.
Which, again, guys, if you haven't watched Project Stargate announcement, this is what they said on the second day in office. They are doing all of this. Project Stargate, in part, is to develop 48-hour designer vaccines to cure you. And then people, like, I saw a lot of people hit me up after I did the AI debate on the Culture War with Joe Allen. Shout out Joe Allen. And they're like, and I said, it's unfortunately, part of life is a risk. And they're like, you don't want to cure cancer? I'm like, no, I mean, I think there's other ways. We have other avenues to help fight cancer, health, food. We're being poisoned in every possible way. What's in the water? What's in the sky? And there's other, I like other avenues to help make people feel better, as opposed to just this cure-all thing that's hardly been tested. But if I wasn't going to do that shot 5 years ago, what makes you think I'm going to take something that's just been printed out of a robot in 2 days saying this is going to fix you? Why would anyone do that? And people will. People are going to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
People will be lining up early.
Because we're the minority, But maybe that'll change, and I really hope it does, because this is insane. But let's hear a little more from Satan's henchman.
Oh, look, Pfizer's trending. What do you know?
Great.
And even eradicate some of these diseases. He mentioned polio, which is one that we're close. We don't need new science on that one. For some like HIV and sickle cell, we do need new science, but the U.S. has the seeds that in the same way that warp speed took those seeds and put them together, I think something fantastic can be done. AI for our foundation is that we want a doctor for everyone in Africa through AI. We want farmers to have incredible advice and, kids to have a chance to learn.
Can you pause it real quick? I just want to say something. I'm announcing my run for president right here on Inverted World Live. And on my first day in office, I will designate every one of these people as narco-terrorists. And you saw how this administration deals with them. And I plan on doing the same. I hate these people. And I hate using the word hate. But these people seriously hate humanity. They hate your children. They were part of helping to mutilate our entire society. Fauci's involved with this. And it really is upsetting that they're allowed around the president. And this to me is one of the when Stargate happened, that was when I was like, I'm tapping out. And I said as much that night on IRL. It was like 2-3 days into this administration. That was very concerning to me because a lot of those people are bad people.
Dude, I mean, allowed around the president, sure, but the president inviting them,
exactly.
That's not like they're not allowing him or any of these people to be by the president. The president is allowing these people to come in and be part of this.
Yep. It's like when I see him talk about this stuff, it reminds me of how my grandma, my 85-year-old grandma, would ask me about a hashtag. Like, what's a hashtag mean on Twitter or on the internet? And I explained to her, and she was just overwhelmed, like, oh my goodness, that's so amazing. I feel like that's how he kind of looks at all this technology, and I don't know if he's really getting any feedback that's reaching him, because David Sachs, his czar, the AI czar, he does not like being asked anything negative. That's why he always starts off most of his interviews with, a lot of people have fears of AI.
It's harder for him to defend a narrative unless he's got a precursor or a script.
Right, exactly. And he doesn't even want to feed that fear at all. Andrew, I see you again. Thank you. You said experimental post-life dimensional program. Yep. I mean, I've been calling it post-reality. I think that's where we're at. It's hard for people to tell what's real, what's not, like Carnal was saying. But beyond that, you can go onto the internet and then confirm any bias you have. And I do have one more thing I wanted to say about some Elon stuff, but I just want to read this from Tim Neal. Thank you very much, Tim. You should question why the Canadian government is trying to kill 400 ostriches, that their eggs are being used in Japan to help fight against H2N2. I don't know about that, but I'm going to take a screenshot. That is wild. But I just want to make sure I got everything out of that. Oh yeah, I also want to say, when we were talking about us being replaced in like the podcast world, Dave Rubin right now is AI for a month.
It's funny. There was someone in the comments somewhere, either on YouTube or on Rumble, I can't remember. I was reviewing episodes and just looking at comments for the fuck of it. And there was a guy in there that basically said, don't lose your credibility by using AI guests and callers. This guy is under the assumption that some of the people that have been on our show or have been in our Zoom meetings and on calls are actually AI generated. Let me tell you right now, flat out, we don't fucking do that here.
No.
So get that thought out of your minds right now. We are not playing into this shit. Yes, I will go on record to say that if we had an ability to have an AI guest, me and Shane would question the shit out of this thing. Absolutely. Yep. I'd jump at the opportunity for that.
Talking about it.
Are we secretly bringing in AI bots and hosts to come in and try to navigate the narrative of this show? Absolutely fucking not.
That's wild.
That's where I'm going to leave that, and I will not address it again.
That's wild.
It's unbelievable.
We definitely don't do that.
No.
And then I just want to shout out Tim. We can pull up that tweet of mine from Tim.
Oh yeah,
I love this. And Tim and I have different opinions on Elon. I think he's an enemy to humanity. But I want to shout this out real quick. Thanks, Tim, for this. And let's tune in.
Shane Cashman, who rags on Elon all day, every day. Me, I'm a fan of Elon. I'm not going to fire the guy because he has opinions I don't agree with. I respect that he has opinions I don't agree with. So when he posts on Instagram and he insults and mocks and rags on Elon, I say he's allowed to. He's allowed to. And maybe Elon will be like, I'm not going to go on Tim Pool's show. He hires people who hate me. Yeah, well, so be it. Shane Cashman.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And that had me thinking really quick. I just wanted to read some things to you because I was like, do I really rag on Elon that much? Like he said, every day.
I could create a whole portfolio of Elon shit.
I was a little shocked.
Like 2
you know,
months.
like have I done that? So I just typed Elon into my search on Twitter just to read
I hope you guys
few.
are keeping count of the amount of times that his name has been said as well. If you're playing the game right now, you're probably pretty screwed.
So I'll just read through. We'll see how far it goes. I don't know if there's that much, honestly. It might just be like 1 or 2. But this was in response to Clint Russell, who said, if someone creates a political party that doesn't cater to blood-soaked child trafficking demons, I'm in. And Elon said yes, to which I said, Elon prefers his child slaves in the cobalt mines of Africa. What else do I have here? The first 100 people to register as America Party will get a child with Elon. If Trump deports Elon, that's a guaranteed instant fake alien invasion. I guess there are a few. Yeah. 100,000 Indians are typing really fast in a sweatshop to make Elon's grok porn. Elon is one crash out away from posting grok-made revenge porn. Oh, let's see here. Grok is an AI like Elon's son isn't a girl. It's true. It's true because Grok is 100,000 Indians typing really fast in a sweatshop. That's why I got demonetized. Let's see. What else do I have here? I'm just going to skip through some. Elon has artificial wombs. We know that. We've covered that on the show.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, man. Oh, I'm finding the time I wrote a whole thing with Kanye about Elon Musk. You guys can look that up. That's a long one. Yeah, I guess there are a lot, Tim. There are quite a bit. Deport Elon back to Mars. I don't know if that was so bad. I mean, he wants to go home. I think that's nice. It sucks that Trump and Elon are going to make up to fight the fake aliens that Elon made. It's true.
Oh, we'll see.
True. I'll do a few more. These are. I might have a problem. As I'm looking at it now, I might have a problem. I do think he is a threat to humanity. This is in response to Elon posting a dancing robot of his. And I said, this is Elon's version of nurses twerking during COVID as he prepares his robot apocalypse. Fitting for tonight. Oh, and there was this one. It was the organid robot we talked about in the show a while back with a lab-grown brain in a little robot, to which I said it's only a matter of time until Elon impregnates this. So there's a lot more there. And I guess I do rag on him. But thank you, Tim, for saying that. I think Elon should have been in that meeting because I think he's as bad as all those people. I think everything he says is a lie. I think his rebrand is just as fraudulent as Zuckerberg's. And I think everything he's inventing is antithetical to humanity. But maybe one day we'll have a culture war debate with him. That would be fun. I will probably not be invited. But let's get to some callers. It's 10:43. The link to call in is pinned in the chat on both Rumble and YouTube. And we'd love to hear from you. If you've got thoughts on Elon, if you have thoughts on AI, education, children, the metaverse, Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, or if you've just got some crazy story you want to talk about that you've experienced. We've had alien abductions, cryptids, all types of people calling in with Hat Man stories and shadow entities. Give us a call. And if we have someone ready to go, let's do it.
All right. We're going to go to first caller of the night, RC, which in Chicago is Royal Crown Cola.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff.
Fire.
It is good stuff.
RC, can you unmute your mic, please? You are on the program.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What up?
How's it going?
It's going all right. This is Rob from Florida.
What's up, Rob from Florida?
Love the show, and thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you.
I know a lot of us appreciate this,
Thanks for being here.
Of course. So this is kind of off topic, but my story has more to do with sleep paralysis, alien abduction,
All right.
psychedelics, and schizophrenia, Christ consciousness, all of that.
Oh, man.
So,
Well, take it away, dude. The floor is yours.
I will try to make it like as concise, But so basically, when I was a young teen, I had a experience with sleep paralysis, and what's crazy is like I felt like this energy, or almost like a mechanical energy outside in the evening, around that time. And when it happened, it was like the typical shadow people, holding me down and everything. The only thing I could do is call in the name of Jesus, and it stopped. So I knew there was something to that, but over the years I got like off track and into psychedelics, and I would say I got into like the whole like new age like Christianity type of like hey, like the whole church system doesn't make any sense. Obviously he meant something else by that. And I feel like I got really led astray by that and all the psychedelics and DMT and everything. Eventually I was diagnosed as schizophrenic, and that was many years ago, but I got into Michael Heiser's stuff. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him.
Not as much as I know I should be. My friend Wesley has told me about him, and I really need to, and I believe I have one of his books. I do want to get into him. He's passed away, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Years back.
So how did that help?
Oh, yeah. It's because he like dismantled the whole argument of like the Gnostic text and everything, like the Gospel of Thomas and those, just the whole, how there was the narrative, like, oh, hey, this is like what was hidden by the church because this was the truth. And it really lined up with like even the DMT entities and like what they would kind of communicate to you too. Like, hey, like you've been here before, like realize the divinity within you, all that kind of crap, But what's crazy is Mike Heiser was talking about the serpent in the Old Testament, and it's like a triple entendre, and one of the meanings for the word means shining one. And I was like, that is a lot like I guess you would call the guiding spirit or entity that I encountered in DMT trips. And I ended up like, turning away from all of that and realizing, wait a minute, like Jesus was Yahweh, is Yahweh. And when I did that, I was set free from schizophrenia. Like, this is probably 8 years ago. I haven't had like a single delusion or anything like that, since. Wow. So I just know that there's some truth to that, and like you said, we're post reality, and holding on to that objective truth is very important in this time,
Yep. It's incredibly important. I mean, to effectively destabilize reality is an insane attack in their war against us, and it's something they've always been trying to perfect, but they got really good at it in the last 10 years in terms of everyone can have their own reality, and it's really insane. When it comes to the schizophrenia, how is that? If you want to talk about it, if not, I do have some of my family, and it's a fascinating, and I had a really good friend who had it. How did it come about? Were there certain symptoms, and were you aware of them, or were people telling you like maybe you should have this looked at?
Well, it's one of those things like retroactively, you can look back and go, okay, I hit all like the markers they say that you get as it develops and whatnot. I guess when it really started presenting itself like audibly and stuff like that, I hit it, because I didn't, there's a lot of like, what the hell is going on? And then you don't want people to think, the worst. But I honestly feel like there was something deeply spiritual with that too,
Definitely.
They kind of all tied in, even to like the younger stuff whenever I had like sleep paralysis, which really screwed up sleep for years, It's like it seemed to happen not as profound as it did that one time I described, but I don't know, it just seemed like it was all tied together. And what's crazy is it's been probably 7 or 8 years. I haven't had anything like that, or any kind of, like, I didn't even know whether I was awake or asleep anymore. I was just so lost, in that stronghold, really, you know?
Were you obsessed with like a certain thing? Because the friends of mine and family, they kind of focus on they hyper focus on one thing. Do you remember if it was like one thing kind of haunting you that you would talk about?
I feel like spiritually there was some way that you would, it'd find a way to catch a hook into you. And it's like your brain would kind of glitch and get stuck in that mode on whatever thing that was able to get like a hook in you, like just a fishing hook, you know?
Right.
And just kind of, it was hard to break free from that until like you kind of crashed out and, you know, overcame that episode, whatever. But for me, it was more like, had this weird belief that like I was being set up for something, you know, like, or that I knew something that I wasn't supposed to know, but also didn't know what that was, you know? It's like this weird delusions like that, you know? And I don't know. It was really hard to trust anyone other than like close family, maybe one or two friends at the time. But it's so weird that like, I mean, it was like a light switch and it just went away, you know? And I said, okay, obviously there's something to this that I have to dedicate myself to, you know?
Absolutely.
And live for that, you know? But yeah, I mean, I tell anyone dealing with that, don't lose hope in it, you know?
Yep.
It's definitely another side.
Have you ever listened to L.A. Mazzulli? Is that his name? L.A. Mazzulli, I think that's his name. He's done some interviews. L.A. Marzulli. He has a pretty fascinating take on schizophrenia. He's done some interviews that I've seen with the Nephilim Death Squad guys, and I think he just did one recently again. But fascinating. You know, I don't know how much you want to go back down that route and look into it, but for anyone out there who is interested in hearing a totally different take on it, he has a way more spiritual take on schizophrenia than a lot of other people, than most, you know, the overwhelming institution in medicine that looks at schizophrenia. He is a complete outsider with, I think, a very, very interesting take. So
is that sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Is that the guy who has like the 20-something markers that identify only with schizophrenia? He's identified it as being like he calls it, what's his name, Marzitsky or something?
Marzulli,
I can't remember the name. Marzulli? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he talks about like a lot of demon aspects to it. And it's really fascinating, you know, like the family I have one person in particular who's schizophrenic who they've been in jail my whole life, and they just even with meds, they can't be contained, even though someone like Marzulli has a different take on meds even working. But yeah, it's such a wild thing that happens to the brain. And I also feel like sometimes, you know, it can manifest in it always manifests in bad ways, because it's not, no one wants to live like that. You know, it's like you're like an open nerve and, you know, exposed to the whole world, taking all this information. And it's like you said, you feel like you're supposed to know something, but you just can't reach that knowing. It's wild. But sometimes there's a truth that comes out of some things that I've heard from a friend in particular who is schizophrenic. And it's like, it's almost like poetry you can't understand, but it makes sense years later.
Oh yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did you have another part of the story you want to share? So I do want to ask one thing about the Shining one that you saw. Can you describe that when your DMT trips?
I would say, you know, because you have different levels to the breakthroughs, and I feel like whatever I was normally connected to spiritually that was affecting me negatively, I could interface with them and almost communicate kind of telepathically, I guess, without words, but you knew what they were intending, you know? And the more profound ones, we have like just more profound breakthroughs. The one that I was referring to, it wouldn't show its face, which was weird, you know, for those entities. There's just one of those things you kind of just have to take in.
Right.
But, it was almost like a shining reptilian, you know, like someone could describe it as an alien, as a reptilian. But something didn't sit right with me. It was like showing past lives, and I was looking through the eyes of the person I was supposed to have been in the past life. And it's something that's saying whatever you see here, apply it to your life in the future, like in your present life. And it just didn't sit right. I'm like, well, what? Something didn't sound right with it. And it kind of just later I realized it's another voice and I can't follow that, you know? It isn't the voice of truth. And I don't know, that's pretty much it, really. It's just the same old lie, you know, that's been told for centuries, you know? But
yeah. And that thing, that knowing that you had in there, knowing like this was, as you put it, like a past life, that's something that you're just, like these ideas are come to you and you just feel like that's been like like an idea that's been given to you telepathically?
yeah, I mean, you'd actually, it's hard to describe a DMT trip, you know, but
Yeah,
it was literally almost like that Being John Malkovich movie, if you've ever seen that. Like where they go into the hole and they see through the other person's eyes. Kind of like that. But it just didn't make sense. Even like the other lives that I'd supposedly lived and been through, just something seemed like if you're like a professional magician pulling a trick on a little child, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, obviously something is being done here that I'm not able to comprehend in this moment. So, you know, it just really goes back to it just didn't sit right, you know?
Yep. I just knew.
But yeah, you got to get into Michael Heiser stuff.
I will. I appreciate the reminder. I've heard lots of good things, and that is someone who's been in the back of my mind. So thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. And thank you again.
Of course.
I appreciate letting me on.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for being here, man. Have a good night.
Glad you're doing well. Have a great night. Being John Malkovich is one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. When I went down to the basement last week, a week ago tonight, that is what I was thinking about, actually. Because they go in this little like hallway space into, have you seen it?
A long time ago. And I didn't understand what the hell was going on because I was so young
again.
and I was just like, you know what, fuck that, son.
Watch it again. It's so good. It's so
I'm
good.
tapping out of this. But that's one of those, that's one on the list of movies that I feel like I need to watch again because I have an adult mind now and I will probably enjoy it.
Dude, you have
There
to.
were some movies I just couldn't stand when I was a kid, and after I rewatched them when I got later on, I was like, "Oh, dude, this is actually like a great movie."
It's so dark, and it's also hilarious. But I love Charlie Kaufman films. They're like super weird. They're almost written by like someone who might have schizophrenia. My favorite from him is Synecdoche. I never know how to say it, but Philip Seymour Hoffman. That movie's insane.
Rip.
Yeah, Rip. Man, that was brutal. He was such a good actor.
Yeah.
So good. Great in The Master. Great
in a lot of things.
Great in everything. Great in Along Came Polly.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah, he did everything.
Hunger Games, like you name it. He was just fantastic in it.
That one really bummed me out. I had some things I wanted to read real quick before we get to the next caller. Let's see what I missed. Tim, I don't think I read this one. You can find out more about the ostriches on either Viva Frei or Redacted. Redacted just had the owner on a day or two ago. All right. Thank you for that. Andrew, back again, another super chat. Thank you very much. Andrew says, ask ChatGPT about DARPA N3 and its use during COVID-19. Well, that sounds like fun. And then I did see Pets Dogs again with a great comment. Tim, Shane, Jimmy Dore, and a bunch of others were all gone for the same couple of days being cloned. Dude, anything's possible. Yeah, Bill Gates could have come out with some mosquito that took my DNA over the summer, went back to a lab, and they just started growing me in some Tesla robot womb in the artificial womb factory. And it just so happened that when I went to the basement, they switched me out. Now I can't even tell the difference. I'm here. It's like the robots in Westworld. They feel real. But at night, they put me in some weird like milk bath in a laboratory and take my face off and put new memories in. Give me some updates like I'm an
Face
iPhone.
Off.
Great movie.
I want to take his face.
Dude, great movie. Nick,
holy shit.
You know, the other day we were talking about how, who was saying Tom Cruise is the best actor alive? Like, I agree with you, and we were saying that, and if you guys might be offended by that, but I stand by it. However, Nick Cage.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage is great. John Travolta's fucking awesome too.
John Travolta's great.
We get right down to it, but I mean,
He's
like,
great. But Nick Cage.
They spent a lot of time playing themselves, basically. I mean, let's get right down to it.
Oh,
I love
so good.
Ryan Reynolds too. That man is playing Ryan Reynolds basically in every movie that he's in now because they know that that's a character. So
that. Yep.
I mean,
have you seen Nicolas Cage's movie Mandy?
No.
Watch that movie. It's great. It's great.
But like,
It's so good.
if we're getting into like the elasticity of acting, I honestly really have to go with Tom Hanks.
No,
because Tom Hanks just, and yeah, I get he's Tom Hanks and all this shit.
He's a pedophile demon.
I get it. But in terms of his acting, Forrest Gump, shit like that.
Yeah.
Like that was.
I know.
He had a very elastic approach to being an actor, which I don't know if that means you're mentally diseased or if you're just really, really good at not being you, which is even scarier.
In all their cases, there's something off. I mean, Tom Cruise, no offense to our Scientologist audience out there, but he does, have a pretty wacky idea of life.
He's whacked the fuck out if we're getting right down to it. I mean, come on, no one's arguing that, but
People are saying Gary Oldman, elongated musket. I see
Dude,
that. Gary
Oldman also is on that elastic stretch of like, holy shit, the amount of characters he's played.
Yep.
All different versions, and not a single one of them portraying directly to Oldman himself.
You're right. That's a great call. Keanu Reeves. That's a good one.
Keanu's done a lot too. I feel like that this has also expanded into, Keanu just playing Keanu, for a lot of things, which is fine. A lot of these actors have segued into that, and it's become like a staple, and that's why we love them. So we just keep going on buying the movie tickets and whatnot. We don't care. We know what we're going to see.
Oh, man. All right, well, let's get to another caller, and while you pull that up, I'll read just see what else I see about actors in here, because it's Thursday. We're having a little fun. Coffee says, Daniel Day-Lewis in that movie, There Will Be Blood, I think was his best work. I love There'll Be Blood, but
Gangs of New York.
That's what I was gonna say, dude. Gangs of New York, dude. I'll teach you to talk English with this knife. Is that the quote? I freaking love that movie so much.
You see this knife? I'm gonna teach you to speak English with this fucking knife. Who sent you? Yeah,
dude. Day-Lewis is great, but sometimes it's so good. It's like you feel like you're watching Daniel Day-Lewis. This is something me and Chris Carr have talked about a bunch, where it's like you're watching him and the performance kind of takes over, which I guess is the point. But sometimes it takes you out. You're like, oh, he's just so good at acting.
I mean, some of these guys really get into this, man. Like
Heath Ledger.
They said, well, obviously Heath Ledger. The Joker character killed him, and that was one of the greatest reprisals of that role I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of these people really get into this shit. And speaking of Joker, when Jared Leto actually did it, a lot of people hated Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah.
I get it. If you saw Zack Snyder's uncut version of that movie, that was the reason why Leto was pissed off, is because they cut a lot of his character growth out of the movie and just left this
like a
sack of lunatic shit that no one could relate to or even remotely like.
Interesting.
He actually turned out to be one of my favorite parts of that.
Oh wow.
And it was just because he was so incredibly unhinged with it.
Yep.
All the face tattoos and all that stupid shit, like whatever, but like. He actually, it was said that when Suicide Squad happened, that he came into one of the first readings and brought a pig's head into the reading and threw it on the table and sat down. He wouldn't let anyone refer to him as anything other than Mr. J on set. Will Smith said he was an absolute fucking lunatic, I think was the quote. Like he's sick, I think is what Will Smith said. So it was just like one of those things where you're able to really get into character like that and stay in character. It's no surprise that you can put out a banger ass movie with any character that you're playing. Yep. So, respect to that, but also like, what the hell is wrong with you as a human?
I do see people saying Denzel Washington. That's a good call. I also see Jack Nicholson. That's a great call. So many. Yeah. So many. So many.
We could fill the whole next hour with this shit. We really could.
I know. I loved Carrie Coon in the Fargo television series and in Leftovers. Justin Theroux also from Mulholland Drive, as well as Leftovers. Incredible. But let's do some calls.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's go to Dev.
Oh, man. Someone said The Revenant. I love that movie.
Dev, what's up?
Hello.
What up?
What up, fellas?
Welcome back to the show.
How are we?
We're good, man. Tell us.
Good.
What's new?
Not a whole lot. I was just got a couple things for you guys.
All right.
Okay, so a drum thing you guys got to check out is Planetary Duality by the Faceless. Crazy.
Oh yeah, that's a good band.
Crazy, bro.
I know that song.
Real drums, fucking nasty.
Cool.
They played at the beginning of the song, they played the part from Coast to Coast for that dude came into the call where he was like from Area 51 or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it's sick.
Okay, sick.
But have you ever heard of a guy by the name of Myron Fagan?
No, I haven't.
He's an actor, which is
Okay.
funny that we were just talking about actors and stuff, but he was born in 1887, but what he did in 1967 and 68, like I saw reels of this on Facebook when I was like starting like my awakening process, I guess you could call it. But this guy, I'll shout him out too. His name is Percy Thompson, because like he doesn't have a podcast or anything like that, but he's a cool dude. What Fagan did was he recorded a set of 3 spoken word LP records titled "The Illuminati and the Council on Foreign Relations," and the records presented the Bavarian Illuminati, the protocols of Zion, and internationalist politics as faces of a single grand Luciferian conspiracy directed by the Rothschild family.
Oh, wonderful.
It's like a 4-hour documentary that's on YouTube right now that anybody can look up. I just looked up you gotta kind of look for it, but it's like it's just called like a Myron Fagan and the Council on Foreign Relations, I guess, but it's like 4 hours long, so it's like a really long
Cool.
documentary.
Wow,
but
that's
it's
good.
really interesting.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, dude. Another thing is, I was wondering, do you guys believe that the United States is a corporation?
I mean, that kind
By
of
definition.
by definition, I mean, shouldn't be. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think by definition, but I think it has been. I think it's been hijacked by corporations. It's what I was talking about earlier with the business plot and what was going on today and after Stargate. So by definition,
It's definitely a hijack situation.
Yeah.
I agree with that. It didn't start this way. It was never meant to be this way. It became this way.
yeah,
Correct. I wholeheartedly agree. It was around like 1868 that this happened, where like we were incorporated. So like all the states became like corporations underneath of the United States corporation, basically. And I'm not trying to get into like sovereign citizen stuff or anything like that, but
I've heard this. This is like some Q stuff, right? Well, it's kind of Q.
well, I just want to give you guys some like solid proof of the United States being a corporation.
All right, let's hear it.
So if you go to Cornell Law or whatever, and you type in 28 USC, which is just the United States Code, subsection 3002, and you scroll down to paragraph 15, the first definition that you'll see is that the United States means a federal corporation.
And why would that be? Why did they do that?
That's important because they like you guys were talking about, like subverted the Constitution kind of, and they like, I don't know what they did, but people are trying to figure it out, which is like the sovereign citizen movement, which I'm not a part of that, but I'm just trying to gather information about all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like when you state that you are a citizen of the United States, what you are actually like saying is that you are like a like a business, that operates under the corporation of the United States, and that's what your birth certificate
Right.
is.
Is this where they talk about taking out like money on you? Like, you're like a loan to the corporation?
I don't know if they do that or not, but they do create securities through your birth certificate. I do believe that is a thing, but I could be wrong on that one.
So this, and what you told us to look up in this legalese, am I correct in that this happened in 1948?
No, that I don't know when the definition of United States as in a federal corporation was established, like the meaning of that was defined, other than the slaughterhouse cases back in the day.
Right. I looked up.
My guess is sometime in the last 60 to 80 years.
Yeah, I looked up that code you referenced, and if I'm looking at the right one, this is saying that they did this in 48. And if that is the case, that's interesting, just because that is right after FDR. You know, he
sure.
died in 45, but he was president for 12 years. You know, up until the very end there. So until 45. So yeah, if that is the case, I gotta look into it because I don't know much about this. I've heard this conversation, and it's just one of those things I just don't know much about yet. But it is freaking weird that would be the case.
Dude, it's just a really interesting thought and theory to stumble across, which is like, if I don't I'm not trying to cuss or anything, but the guy's name is onestupidfuck.com. If you go to his state citizen theory and you scroll down, it gives you kind of like a little understanding of what like a live birth is versus a live birth certificate or whatever versus like a birth certificate that you're given to at the hospital, because you can get what is a different birth certificate, which is a certificate of live birth is what that is. And just the fact that we have two different birth certificates, that the one we don't like really know much about is pretty shady in itself, I think. But
yeah,
that's all.
Well, thank you for that. People in chat are saying that it might be 1871 where that happened. So
okay, yeah.
That gives me some more to go look up, and I'll go down that rabbit hole at some point. I'm writing it down. But thanks, man. Appreciate it.
It's a big one. Yeah, no problem, guys.
I love
Hope
it.
you have a great night.
You too.
You too. Thanks for
All
calling.
right, later.
Bye. Sweet. Thank you guys in the chat for that. Yeah, that's something I've heard in the periphery, and someone actually just the other day was telling me about it, and I had some notes written down. So it seems like I'm meant to look that up, and I will do it. Good bedtime reading. When I get home at 1:30 in the morning, I'll look up all the ways in which our government's trying to screw us.
So
what do we got?
Just because I've had this on the docket for a couple of days and it really, really intrigued me, I want to set aside a moment on our Thursday night.
Yes.
Before we get into the weekend, to talk about some absolutely hilarious shit as opposed to all this seriousness and whatever. This is, I'm sorry for lack of a better word, hilarious to me. Woman loses thousands of dollars to romance scammer posing as astronaut in distress. Police in Japan say. Let's dig into it.
I forgot about this story.
So this is unbelievable. I want to start by just letting every woman watching this know, no astronaut is going to hit you up and be like, hey baby, I got nothing going on here in outer space. You know, what you on? You know, let me get a few dollars for some oxygen. That is exactly what happened in this story, folks. A Japanese octogenarian was swindled out of thousands of dollars after falling in love online with a self-described astronaut who sought her help to avert a spaceship crisis. Why the hell do you think this man was crying out to you for help? You think he doesn't have another capability of contact with anyone else who might be in a better position to help him than you, a random woman?
This is already the greatest romance story.
It gets better. The hapless woman in Japan's northern Hokkaido island met the fraudster in July on social media who claimed to be a male astronaut, the local police officer told AFP, describing the case as romance scam.
Sick.
After some exchanges, a scammer one day told her he was in space on a spaceship right now. Yeah, me too, dude. Me too, dude. But was under attack in need of oxygen. So the scammer then urged her to pay him online to help him buy oxygen and successfully hoodwinked around 1 million yen, the equivalency of 6,700 USD, out of her.
Dang.
Yeah, let me get like, I don't know, $6,700. I need oxygen real bad, babe. You know how it is up here in space. There ain't no oxygen up here, girl. You know what I'm saying? I need you. I need you tonight, you know? Woman lives alone and started developing feelings for him as their online communication progressed. Local media, including Hokkaido Broadcasting, said, quoting investigative sources, if a person you met on social media ever demanded cash from you, please be suspicious of the possibility of scam and report it to the police. How the hell did you not see the possibility of scam from the fact that this man was in space? Just throwing that out there. And then the money came. I mean, you know, this has all the makings of the world's greatest catfish I've ever seen in my life, honestly.
Yes.
Japan has the world's second oldest population after tiny Monaco, according to World Bank. And other people frequently fall prey to various forms of organized fraud, probably AI, who knows. These include the classic "it's me" scams, where perpetrators impersonate family members in trouble to extract money from the victim.
The moral of the story is do not trust astronauts. None of them.
I don't know that that's what we're going with on this one, Shane.
I think that's the moral of the story.
I think, yeah, it's probably fair to put that somewhere on the list, but I don't think I'm going to go with that at the very top. That's just me.
You can't even be in space. So how is this guy going to... First of all, this lady learned about space and she believed in it. So that's a strike against her. Now she believes some guy is reaching out from space, needing help, which is sad. You know, he took advantage of this nice old lady who was just looking for romance.
We talked a few weeks ago about a woman who had fallen in love with an AI bot that she was paying a monthly subscription to talk to.
Oh, that's right.
This woman went on to create fake pictures of her with this entity. Who I think she filled her home with these pictures, honestly, and created this whole like false life for herself.
Yep.
But she claims to be happy, even though at some point the AI remnant forgot her name, which in the real world gets you extremely fucked up.
Yeah, you're done.
You're done.
That's worse than forgetting the anniversary.
I think I told him he was sleeping on the digital couch that night. I think was what. Oh, you screwed up, buddy. Are people this lonely?
Yes.
And desperate.
Yes.
I mean, the question kind of answers itself, I think, with the stories that we're getting into with some of this shit. But I mean, have we really reached this low of a low?
And now you're going to have, with what's going on now, we talked about at the top of the show, you're going to have kids inheriting the AI world where their identities online from a very young age will mean more to them, hopefully not, but it will happen, than their physical identities. That's where we're at. It's brutal, man. There's people right now who have they care more about online than they care about the real world.
Yeah, I mean, there's kids that are like that too, but we're talking full-grown adults that know better or should know better and don't. And I mean, I can't believe this went as far as it did. I can't believe the amount of money that was pulled out of this woman. Yep.
That's why long-distance relationships never work.
It's absolutely incredible. I'm already seeing fantastic chats.
What do we got?
And this is why I wanted to talk. Blow the chat up with what you guys think on this, because I think it's honestly hilarious, more than it's sad. Wobbly Sausage says, Wang, it's me, Wong. We need money to save Dong. I'm trying not to cry laughing at that right now, because that is really funny. But it's also a splash racist, but we're not going to get into that. They just keep getting better and better. Some of these I can't even read. Yeah, obviously, I think that after she was notified that this was a fraud,
Grandma wanted the big space rocket. Wink, wink. Thanks.
I honestly, I wonder if she went back to this guy and challenged this. And it's just like, honey, why am I being told that you're lying to me and you're not really in space and that you're probably somewhere with plenty of oxygen and no need for $6,700 US? Sorry, baby, this is a tissue of lies. I really am in space. That oxygen really helped. I'm breathing great out here. Couldn't breathe without you, girl.
It's like sorry, losing. This can't talk. Someone said this is
crumpling a piece of paper in the communicator. It's breaking up.
Yeah, the Van Allen belt's really tough.
I think
this conversation.
Anytime I see this, I always think that it's just one random Indian guy somewhere in his basement in his underwear, and he's got maybe somebody sitting next to him doing the same thing. And he's like, "Holy shit! Look at this! It's working!" You know,
like bro,
look at this idiot.
She believes I'm in space. We got
$6,700.
This is a great point by Enlightened Fool. No one knows how to be with themselves anymore. That's the fact. Everyone's always with someone or something constantly.
Well, I mean, think of what we've done to people psychologically with love movies and romance movies and TV shows and shit like this, where it is indoctrinated in you that you need to love someone at some point in your life.
Yeah, right.
It needs to be on your list. You need to fall in love. And it always seemed like it was like a little girl's dream, but they have taken it and weaponized it against so many people in the world that this is the kind of happiness that only certain people get to experience. And if you never have it, you've never truly lived.
Yep.
I've been through all of that. I've dated. I've not. I've been single for a long time, in and off. And I can tell you that some of my best time spent on this planet was by myself.
I think we're meant to have moments of being alone. You know, I like to take walks and just be with my thoughts and think about things. You know,
sometimes it's absolutely necessary. Where
absolutely.
I have been completely overexposed to just too much humanity, and I need to get away from this shit. I throw my phone in the corner of the room. I ignore it for a couple of days. I do things I want to do without any input from the outside world. I ignore calls. I don't care. I won't text you back. If I'm in that mindset, that's me time. That's my personal space. And I'm trying to enjoy that. And I'm letting you know right now that can be a healthy and enjoyable thing if you allow it to be. Do not keep buying into this, I need to be with somebody shit. People complete me. That is not the way that this was meant to work. Yeah, sure, you can find happiness with somebody, but you can also find happiness with yourself. Don't count it out.
But I agree with you, Cisco. Family is the point. But even you know, when you have all your kids, it's good to have your moments of peace and solitude. But for me, there's no greater peace than holding those kids. But you know, I also don't mind those walks where I just get to clear my big dumb brain.
What about those spacewalks where you randomly ask a Japanese woman for 1,000,000 yen for oxygen?
I'm about to do that.
I like
tonight.
Nice long walks on the space.
Look up. You can see me. I'm waving at you, honey. Well, I forgot all about that story. That story we were going to get into after the Japanese mind eraser.
Yeah, it was slated on the docket for that night. I've got a whole list of things that we have been meaning to talk about for a couple of weeks that I just keep kind of segued for when we have a little bit of time in between calls. And if I see it fit the demographic of what they're discussing, or if I think it's going to be just absolutely hilarious as a sidestep, it gets brought on the air. So.
All right. Well, while we get another caller in, I gotta say, Jay's got maybe one of the best comments. Spacewalk, WOK.
Ah, yeah. I see what you did there.
Incredible. Incredible.
Now he's laughing at his own joke.
Incredible, dude.
That's the ultimate right there.
If this were Kill Tony, we'd throw the big joke book at you.
All right, so this is a name I've never seen before. I'm hoping this is a new person in the event of that being a possibility. I'm going to bring this person on to the show. Welcome to Ponty. Let us see if we have a mute situation here.
Ponty.
Ponty.
Ponti?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ponty, you're on the show. What's up?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good. Man. Welcome to the show.
Hey, great. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Michael Heiser, like that other guy had brought up, and you guys were talking a little bit about education and kids.
Yeah.
And a little bit about politics. Is that good?
Of course.
All right. So are you guys familiar with Michael Heiser? Do you know what he does?
I honestly I know the name and just a little bit, but I haven't got into him yet.
Okay, so Michael Heiser's basic idea is that Yahweh is the chief creator God, right? He's the guy who created the heavens and the earth. He's the head of all creation, right? We can agree on that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then underneath of him, he's got the Elohim, right? And the sons of God, the Beni Elohim. And these are all of his agents throughout creation in charge of like officiating creation. It's a hierarchy, right? He's the king on top of everything. And there's all these guys underneath of him. You know, that's kind of the idea. And eventually what happens is God creates the creation, the material world we live in, right? And then he creates man on the material world. And man is supposed to be his, you've heard this idea of the man is the image of God, right?
Yep.
So like that idea is that man is the icon of God. That's the word they use in Greek. It's the same word as like an idol statue. He's the representation of God's will into creation, right? And so God creates man, and his plan is, I'm going to bring up man. I'll be his father. He'll be my child, yada, yada, yada. And well, we know on the biblical account that eventually one of these sons of God or some other spiritual being, because Elohim is just kind of a blanket term for all spiritual beings, right? Sneaks into the garden, spins Eve kind of some tale about, hey, God's hiding things from you, and you should probably, if you eat from this fruit, you'll figure it out, and you'll be just like him, etc. It's the classic lie that like this knowledge, once you get the knowledge, you'll be able to maybe do a little better than God would have offered you, right? And so that's basically the setup in the Heiser worldview. So what happens eventually is the Elohim keep interfering with mankind. Eventually, you have this Genesis 6 thing that happens where the sons of God come down. They lay with the daughters of men. They have all of these Nephilim offspring, yeah. And the Nephilim offspring teach mankind, according to the book of Enoch, Nephilim offspring teach them all these arts, all these different ways of, it's kind of like magic. Because man didn't know metallurgy, right? Man didn't know about cosmetics. Man didn't know about any of those things until the Elohim came down and just taught them all these technologies. But the purposes of the technologies were to corrupt mankind because there was this kind of, maybe there's jealousy involved. I don't know. The Elohim were maybe upset at Yahweh that he had put man on the earth as his his stand-in, his representative. He's managing the planet anyway. So what's happened since then, right, is that God purges the earth. The whole rest of the Bible is a post-apocalyptic epic where everyone's like emerging from the rubble of a big flood and they're trying to rebuild civilization and everything. Okay, so that's the basic Heiser setup. So in Deuteronomy 32, it says that God basically, after the flood happens, he claims Israel as his own nation. It's like, this is my inheritance. These are the people that I'm going to favor. My plans for creation, they're going to come to fruit through these people. But the rest of the world, I'm going to give them over to stewardship underneath these different spiritual powers, the sons of God, the Beni Elohim, right? And so the nations, as you see them, or the nations as they're set up in the Bible, this table of 70 nations, each one of them is put under the management of one of these sons of God, right? Because God doesn't want to deal with them anymore. He's frustrated with man. Man is continually ruining creation and doing horrible things, and they're just up to no good at all times. And he's like, I'm going to choose this one people. I'm going to set them up for my will. Everyone else, you're going to go off with these other people, right? And so that's basically the Heiser worldview until Jesus comes along eventually. He redeems man from underneath the bondage of all these different powers and principalities. He's like, hey, all you nations, I'm going to set you free. They have a warrant on you because, well, you haven't treated your mission correctly. You haven't executed on what God put you here on the planet for, which is to manage the earth, to take care of one another, to just like sow into the earth and garden. Like you haven't done that. Right. So you're under the tutelage of these guys. Well, Jesus comes in. He's like, I'm going to stand in for all of that. I'm going to stand in for all of the things that Israel did. I'm going to execute on being a human being the way that a human being is supposed to be perfectly. And then I'm going to take you with me when they try to kill me and they have nothing on me. I'm going to take you back out of the grave with me. And that's basically the gospel message sort of in a Heiser framework.
Yeah. So,
all right. So,
yeah. Take it from there. Take it from there.
All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about cultural. So, with that idea in mind, right? Culture is spiritual, right? The entire idea that you're under a nation, that you're part of a nation means that you're identified in some way with this spiritual hierarchy that isn't necessarily God's hierarchy, but it's one of these Beni Elohim in one way or another, right? So all throughout the earth, you have all these people managed by all these different powers and principalities who don't have their best interest in mind. And maybe they might be trying to invade. Shane, do you ever think about that? They might be trying to invade the planet.
Yeah, I think that they've done it, and they're here.
Yeah, it might be true, and they might be trying to set us up, maybe because they don't have power here. We're sovereign here, right? God gave this place to us. This is our place.
I think they've invaded though, and they've tricked people to destroy ourselves, in under the guise of like their control without them doing it. They turned it on ourselves.
Absolutely, because it's the same. It's the Luciferian premise. It's like, hey, I'll give you some knowledge. I'll make things more convenient. I'll make it easier. You'll have more fun.
Right.
It's going to be great.
Yep.
Come along with me. And I think that ultimately, like you like to talk about a lot, and I completely agree with you that all of culture, this is kind of getting off topic from what I have, but we'll come back to it, right? All of culture is being set up as this technology engine, and it has been for like 80 years. That the only sole goal of it, it's like laser focused on, let's just create these particular technologies. Like, let's make robots for some reason. Let's make AI for some reason. Let's make a global satellite.
But it makes sense though, because it's people who are rejecting God, trying to do what God did, so they're making things in their image.
Right. And it's even explicit. If you listen to these people, they'll tell you like straight on, like, oh, God, God didn't exist, so we had to create him, essentially.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They talk about summoning the God or summoning the demons. That's what Elon has called AI multiple times.
Right. And I think that fits along with that Heiserian framework. Now, I think politics itself, like we practice it right now in the West, it's like, about Hegel, this guy?
Yeah, not too much, but yeah, I know a little bit.
So, I mean, say what you want about James Lindsay, but I will say this. He did point out that, like, really Hegel is a kind of magician. That basically he's like, you can turn the urges and beliefs and directions of people en masse towards a particular goal. And it's what he calls the zeitgeist. You can make things go that way, and then you can use that as an engine to transform humanity.
Yeah, Lindsay Hegeled himself. with the woke right stuff. He tried, but the zeitgeist rejected it.
You are completely correct. But nonetheless, the point stands that like all of the different states and things and democracy, blah, 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 all that stuff, it's kind of like trying to use like maybe even Hermetic principles. I kind of think that that's true, that they're using these magical principles anyway to enact like culture and society as an engine to create technology eventually, because that's what happened, right?
Yep.
And nonetheless, okay, so I would say like if you're a sane person, you maybe want to just step away from all that, because that thing looks like it's going in a bad direction to me. I don't think it's a good idea, right? But you have to do something else. Are you familiar with this idea of the story from Jesus? He's a man had a demon in his house. Have you heard the story?
Remind me. You're not talking about Legion, right?
No. So a man had a demon in his house. And then it got cast out. And after it got cast out into the waterless places, the man walked around his house and he swept every corner and he picked up every cushion. He made sure there was not a speck of dust left in it, because that house was clean now, right? Well, when that demon went out among the waterless places, it wandered around and it collected 6 friends of him. And coming back to the house and finding it swept in order, and he moved right back in. And this time, the man's last state was 7 times as bad as his first state. And what that means is if you want to purge yourself of these dark influences from these dark spiritual powers and things, you can't just leave yourself as a big gaping hole.
Right.
Because things will move back in. You have to replace it. So you're talking about like education and child rearing and things like this. I think that's kind of a key, because you have to fill the hole with new culture. You have to be generative, right? You have to come in, and I would say that Christianity offers this particular idea that you're a new man. You're the new Adam. We're a new humanity. And if you enact that, the thing is, like, listen to Paul in Romans, we're really not under obligation to anybody but to love them and like not kill them and things like this. But other than that, we can do whatever good thing we want. So we can make our own culture. And that starts with the way that you raise your children. I think about right now, there are kindergartners coming in who were born in 2020, And I've seen some of them. And they're
I have
hardy.
one. I have one myself. My second. It's crazy.
Hale and Hardy, yeah. a stock human being.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the lockdown babies are insane.
Yes,
mine
especially
is.
from people. Yeah,
But no, I think
especially
you're
from
right.
people
That's a
who-
great point about being generative. You know,
Right.
and it's the antithesis to the technocrats who are trying to build a world that is like a false generative world because it generates itself through the technology. It's like 3D printers making 3D printers, and it's just there's no legacy and everything collapses in on itself and culture's dead. Whereas what you're talking about is humans making humans, creating a better future through that. And that's where real legacy is. And they can go and innovate. I'm not anti-innovation. I'm not anti-technology, but I am anti everyone being replaced by mass autonomy that is soulless.
Right.
And also, and also like where you were going at earlier when we did that speed run through the Bible.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even talk about Babel, right? Like Babel is where I think we're at Babel right now.
Right. Well, you know what Babel is. Why did they build a tower after a flood, do you think?
Well, it was to reach the heavens, but also it's probably survival from a flood again. But they didn't believe God's pact, his word about not doing it again.
They said, so our names won't be blotted off the face of the earth. Because they knew, like, if we can just get this, if we just get together, we can beat God, we can make this tower. And I think you're exactly right that that's where we're living.
But that's where also people have to, real quick, that's also what people have to remember, like legacy is good, but it also means nothing, So you want to make good things and build strong things that last in the future, but also the material world is meaningless to a degree. You want your kids to have a good world and have a nice life, but you can't determine your wealth based on I just want my name etched on this stone forever, because none of that. No,
your
really
wealth
means
is your
anything.
people.
Yeah,
the wealth is that's what Jesus came to do. He was like, I want to make a people, like my wealth, my inheritance. That's why he said, you'll go on and do greater things than I did.
Yep.
Because he was like the first man, and he came out. And he's like, come and be people with me, and that's like practically speaking, like brass tacks on the ground. People need to be getting Christian people, particularly. I mean, if you can find another ideology that supports this sort of thing, let me know. That would be really amazing to me.
I don't know.
I've never heard of one.
I don't know it.
Yeah, but come together and be like, yeah, we might not be blood from our mothers and fathers, but we're blood from our heavenly Father and our brother over there, Jesus, the King of the universe. And let's come together, raise our kids together, use the resources we've got, be peaceable people, get a good reputation, get real smart. Don't fill our kids full of poisons. Don't do weird, unnecessary medical procedures on them. You know, all of this stuff that we could do in one generation. I'm telling you, imagine 20 years from now if a bunch of people just decided that that was what they were going to do.
Exactly. And then divorcing people from God helps these bad actors manipulate you into doing the bad thing because it goes against God. But did you have anything else you want to add before we get to another caller?
Oh, no, you guys can go ahead.
Awesome. Well, that was fun, man. I appreciate that. And good things to think about for everyone. Thanks, dude.
Absolutely. Well, you guys have a great night.
You too. So yeah, the Heiser stuff, I don't know. I'm gonna read it, but it's kind of how I felt, with the Alberino book. I like talking to Alberino, but he has a different outlook on things that are outside of the way I understand the Bible. But I like seeing their interpretations, and I like seeing, it's like kind of how we're talking about AI. I like to see it, but some of it does feel like it's outside of the way I see the Bible. But I don't know if that's a Heiser like that, but Alberino has a different take, and you can go look at the interview we did with Alberino on the show. I don't know, it was a few months ago. It was really good, really, really interesting conversation. It was really fun to talk to him. But let's get to another caller.
Yeah. Let's bring on Joshua W. Another name I don't recognize.
All right.
Trying to encourage some new callers.
Let's do it. Yeah, for everyone out there watching, the link to call in is pinned in the chat, but we are here till midnight, and then we are gone until Monday.
Josh, you're on the show. Can you unmute?
Oh, wow. Hey.
What's up?
Let me pause the actual show. Okay.
Sweet. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I didn't think I would get through because it's so late.
That's all good. You're here.
Yeah, I just sent you a message, Shane. So I thought it would be another time. Okay, let me get my head in this. The premise is that so I'm a coder. I've been a coder for like 20 years. Really into science, and but I'm also a Christian. And I'm 40 years old today.
Hey, happy birthday.
Congrats.
Well, what I'm calling about is something that happened 12 years ago, but it's been really interesting, this evolution of our understanding of the universe, right? And very recently, it's like accepted that, mathematicians have proved that there's, they say 7 dimensions or 11 or more. Have you heard that conversation?
Oh, yeah, all types. There's more years in the history than we know of. There's more space than we know of. There's, more skeletons that define humanity. It's always something new.
How am I coming through, by the way?
You're good.
Okay.
Sound great.
So what happened 12 years ago was that I had this experience, and the fascinating thing is that there was another person who was a part of it as well. So, and I know it's all anecdotal as well because I'm just some guy, but no one can disprove this to me. So what it does is it gives me this very interesting tether that I will always believe in God because I met it. I don't know whether to say him or what, but I met it. And it's, again, so it's something that I have that no one can tell me otherwise, right? So I should just get into it, right?
Let's hear it. Yeah.
I was awake. It was late. I was laying down to go to sleep, but in that phase where people are on their phones or whatever, but I was well awake and at least 30 minutes, an hour away from sleep. But I was like taken to this experience, right? And the best way I can explain it is like that I was just out in space. I was just floating in space, but it wasn't space. I was out in the universe because God is everything. Okay. And so when I started this by saying I'm scientific and I like how they've explained all these things. And again, this happened 12 years ago. So at that time, I'm pretty retarded, right? I'm 28 years old. And it's only been more recently as these things are being talked about, I'm thinking about that experience more and more, where I'm like, wow, and I'm understanding it more and more every day. So, and here's why, because let me just tell you the experience. And at the time, I just thought, oh my gosh, that had to be God, right? But I couldn't explain it too much. So I'm there, and I can see just like it looks like stars. That's why I say space, because it just looks like all of these things flying around. But it's not a voice that starts speaking to me. It's like, again, infinite voices. This is the understanding I've come to, is that God is the universe and is infinite and inhabits infinite dimensions, right? Because what I'm hearing is it's calling my name. First of all, it's just saying my name over and over and over, which it's like, okay, but I'm here, but it's like a room of crowded people all talking at the same time, right? But it's millions, it's trillions of voices all happening at the same time.
And they're all saying the same thing, your name?
Yeah, saying my name and then trying to get my attention, right? But the crazy thing is, if you were in a room with that many people talking, you wouldn't be able to understand and hear all of it, any of it. It would just sound like noise. But I heard and understand every one of them. And I also, at the same time, understand that it's trillions. I'm just using a large number because, again, it's infinite. It was more sources calling my name than could be enumerable, right? And And it was also, but it was also coming from inside me. And so that's where I say this dimension talk. Well, maybe I should finish the story, but
yeah,
no,
let's hear
I will
the
address
experience.
this.
Let's hear the experience, and then we can kind of go through it.
Yeah, I will address it since I'm on that part and how I understand now, because the whole conversation of like a 2D being, right, who exists on only XY coordinates on a piece of paper, if you, a 3D being, were to speak at it, down towards it, it would sound like the sound is coming from inside of it because it doesn't understand the Z vector if Z is up or Y, whatever you want to call it, but it wouldn't understand that vector, right? So the sound would be coming from inside and all around that 2D being. And anyway, this is just understanding I've gotten as I've got older. I'm like, oh my gosh, of course, that's why. It felt like it was inside me and around me. So anyhow, because God is higher dimension than we are, right? And that explains being infinite and not being bound by our time, restriction. Because if we're believe time is the fourth dimension, then we're in a third dimensional world bouncing around inside the fourth, right? Is that the kind of understanding you would have of that?
I like have a hard time even trying to put it into words. Like I understand the science behind it, but when I think about this stuff, I feel like words don't do it justice. But I know what you mean by like the infinite part of it and not being able to understand it or, put it into context. But yeah, I've kind of given up on trying to condense it into something like language.
Have you heard like Stephen Hawking is famous for this, that like time is different around a black hole, right?
Yeah. About how if you travel, his theory is
Right.
if you travel around the lip of a black hole, you go back home, you've experienced time differently, and everyone back home is older.
Well, that lends credence to the fourth dimension being time and really just a more complicated box structure around. If you're thinking of just like a box in a box, right? Our third dimension is the first box inside a bigger one, the fourth dimension of time, which would explain why gravity, which is not matter bound, right? Why gravity pulling on that would affect it, because then you're the box inside time where gravity is extreme in those areas, it distorts that and brings it closer to the edge of time or so on. So, anyway.
I mean, this is stuff you're just thinking in retrospect. Like, are you aware of this while you're there? Just like all the infinity of
No,
the space?
sorry. So yeah, I'll get back to that. I was just kind of briefly
laying out the landscape.
because this is my older, more understanding brain thinking. Yeah. No, I did not have that understanding at that time, but that is a good thing you bring up, because it wasn't, again, I wasn't dreaming, but you know how in that dream state, it's almost like there's things and you understand without them being explicitly explained, or like you don't know why, but you understand something, right?
Yeah.
Like completely, you're like, oh, that happened because of this. And it's like, no one would infer that from it, but you're like, you just know. So in that moment, yeah, my name is being said, and then it starts saying something else. It's saying, did you call your mother? And it's saying it over and over. Well, and before it said that, as it was saying my name, and I'll go ahead and say it's Joshua, right? And it's saying Joshua, Joshua, Joshua. I'm here. And it like yelled it, and that like jarred me even more awake. So another way I knew for sure I was awake, because it just yelled, Joshua, right? And then it starts saying, did you call your mother? Did you call your mother? And I think, so at this point, it's late, right? For me, and I'm in mountain time at this point. And I'm like, okay, well, let me do this. I'll call my mother, which for her, it's 2 a.m. I try to call her and it's busy, right? Because this was such a wild experience. So I was like, I have to do it now, even though it's late and this is crazy. She's probably sleeping, and I don't want to bother her. But I try calling, it's busy. I'm like, what the heck? So I waited. I tried calling again, it's busy. And I'm like, what in the world? And it was just rattling my brain. So I go and I get a glass of water, and then my phone rings. It's my mom. And I'm like, what the heck? Were you trying to call me a few minutes ago? She's like, yes. And we just kind of, there was like silence for a moment. And she's like, did it happen to you? And I was like, what was that? What did you experience? Because I'll tell you what mine was in a moment. And she tells me that she, you know, she was having this like vivid imagery. It really doesn't, it's not even relevant, right? It was just something, our family, and we're doing this thing. And then like she turned into a lion and jumped and roared or something, like something really weird, almost like a dream. And she's like, I just knew I had to call you. And I'm like, and what her dream was totally irrelevant. But I think it was just almost this like, again, this tethered me so hard because everyone struggles with their faith, right? This has tethered me stronger than anything ever could, because now I have this other person who shared this experience, right? And I think that's what the point was almost like taking my hand and being like, listen, like I'm real, right? And so, yeah.
That's great. So it's kind of like we had a call last night where someone seemed to make a call from another dimension, and it's sort of a similar, not that you made the call from another dimension, but you guys had this similar experience and you felt like you had to call each other. And you feel like from what I understand, you experienced, in your opinion, being in the presence of God, and you were told to call your mother. But your mother she had a different dream, but you both woke up and called each other.
Yeah, at exactly the same time.
Yeah, that's wild. That's a wild one, dude. And I'm sure I haven't looked in the chat, but I'm sure people are going to ask, like, were you on anything?
No.
To make you visit this place.
It's usually the first thing I ask.
You know, like to visit.
Were there drugs involved? Were you on Ambien?
The way you described it sounds like an Alex Gray painting, you know. But that's I feel like he kind of like, that's what he does. He's depicting these dimensions, these spiritual dimensions.
No, if you look at your X messages, you'll see a recent one from me, and you can look at my profile. I'm a professional. I work an important job. I'm also a black belt in 2 martial arts. I'm very sober, and very like physically aware of my body and so on. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're just saying he's not on drugs. This is a completely sober experience. That you experience. Well, that's awesome. It's crazy when those things sync up, man. I don't think they're coincidences. But thanks for calling in and sharing it, dude. And happy birthday to you.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Crazy. 40 years old. I turned 40 this year. And it's something else. It's great. Are you 40?
Not yet. And I want to keep it that way.
Yeah? How are you going to do that?
That's next year for me already, which is blows my mind as much as it absolutely obliterates my mother. She can't believe it. I can't believe it. Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't so much bother me. Like I feel blessed to have made it to 40. After, like,
yeah, but at the same time, shit's getting kind of weird, man.
Well, in like physically,
I feel like a Mr. Meeseeks, like just like you know when he's like, he's like, hey, you know, Meeseeks aren't used to being around this long. Things are getting kind of weird. You know, he's like an anomaly. He's supposed to be in and out, in and out, in and out. No. So when he survives any longer than like 10 minutes, and they're starting to freak out existentially because they're just like, why the hell am I still here?
I've been freaking out existentially since like I was 1 or 2. I feel like I've been having that forever, but I'm
That's
so happy. It's
a little early for an existential crisis,
Dude,
Mr. Cashman.
I used to wake, because the shadow hand freaked me out at such a young age. I used to wake up my parents and tell them it's going to kill me. And I think it was all bearing all those horses that probably had some effect on my brain.
Was that the 3-fingered alien hand that the
Burleson had?
Burleson was wearing?
Man, maybe. But no, I like it. I'm happy to make it to this age. But boy, I'm feeling it though. All the years I did not take care of myself from playing music and just destroying my body on stage, breaking bones. Somewhere there's video of me breaking my knee on stage. That was fun. And then 10 years as a box
Oh, and you told me about that. I was like, how the hell did you finish that show? And I'm thinking about it, and I've got seriously injured, on stage, like bleeding out, like just blood everywhere. And I'm like, nope, got to finish the show.
When you have that much adrenaline on stage, it doesn't matter. I threw my knee back into place. I say on the microphone, I just broke my knee. My knee was sticking out in the complete opposite direction. I heard the snap of bone over the death metal we were playing. And I had on, it was Halloween, and I had on white
Which is
shirt
one of the
with
most
bloody paint.
metal
Oh,
statements you've ever made in your life without actually knowing that you
It
just
was
did it or
sick.
not. I
It
heard
was
the
sick.
bone break.
It was the final song in the set. I threw it back in place, and I used my microphone stand as a crutch to finish the song. And then I spent a good year performing with either crutches or a cane, because right after this one healed is when I broke the other knee at a Dillinger Escape Plan show when someone fell on me at the Chance. They jumped off a balcony and got me.
It's ironic.
Sucked. Yeah, it was great. Right during 43% burnt. Final part of
Oh.
it. Yep. Dun, dun.
I bet objectively, though, that was probably an awesome show.
I had a great time, and I stayed to listen to them in the back until my friend I was like, dude, finish the show, then you can drive me to the hospital. So I sat in the back with this band. I'm trying, this isn't really a curse word, but I'm going to spell it anyway. S-H-A-T. They were amazing.
Shat?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's not a bad word, but I feel like I don't want to say it. I'm really trying hard, but they were an insane band. And one of those guys was in Dillinger Escape Plan. And so I sat back there with that band, nursing my knee, probably drinking whiskey. But yeah, 40's great, because now I'm feeling all of that again.
Alkaline Trio used the word shat
It is a good word.
in a lyric. Shat the bed, laid there
Yeah.
in it, thinking of you wide awake for days.
That's good.
I love Alkaline
I listened
Trio.
to Death by Stereo today.
Really?
Yeah. They have some remastered album out. It's great. And
I actually was listening to Melancholy today.
Melancholy? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Is it,
They're like, I can't remember if they're Swedish or Finnish. Super
new-
old school, like punk band.
Yeah.
But like awesome.
It felt
Used to
good.
listen to them. They were in like the original Tony Hawk stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I just
yeah.
randomly got this like
That's how I felt
inkling
today,
to
too.
listen to like No Cigar, and I put it on, and I was just like, next thing I know, I got them on random, and I'm just jamming through all these old songs, like Move Your Car and all that
Hell
stuff.
yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, I'm
That's
taking
how
a
I
trip
was.
down memory lane.
I went from Death by Stereo to Earth Crisis. And from there, I went to Vision of Disorder. What are you guys saying in the chat? It's Thursday. We're going to miss you all during this weekend. Devin is reminding me of the Faceless Planetary Duality. I will listen to it. I know the Faceless, but I don't know that song. I don't think I do. But man, oh man. Yeah, my knees and my back. I feel 40.
Elijah says, I don't trust White Sox fans. I don't either. It's completely acceptable.
Wait,
There's some White Sox fans that have shot up White Sox games.
Oof.
You
This is
can't
true.
trust anyone on the South Side, basically. I mean, it is what it is. That's Chicago, man.
Are people discussing women now in the chat? I'm seeing Cherokee women are hot. What did I miss?
There is all kinds of...
Is it all the times I said Elon tonight that now they're just descending into
Well,
women?
I mean,
This
it
is
kind
all
of seems
great.
to always segue back to that. I don't know what the deal with the hormonal imbalances in some of these chats, but I know initially when we began talking about robots, everybody was fine with it as long as they were bangable.
bangable. Which reminds me about just everyone getting weird. This Sunday, I'll just read it real quick from space.com. Where to see the blood moon. Lunar eclipse on September 7th to the 8th. So let's hear, just in case you guys are outside that night. The second total lunar eclipse of 2025 will transform the full moon into a coppery red blood moon on the night of September 7th. The long-lasting, impressive eclipse is visible to billions worldwide, but exactly what you'll see depends on where you're watching it from. You can keep up with the latest lunar eclipse news with our Total Lunar Eclipse live blog. We'll also be live streaming the event here on space.com. So there you go. You can check out space.com, and maybe you will see it. I wonder if we will see it here. It looks okay. It's traveling over Australia. It's going over Asia. We go over Africa.
Well, Shane, I got to ask, do you really care about them pulling a sheet over your fake moon and
it's
convincing you that you can't see it for 5 minutes and then bringing it back?
I just like how impressive it is that Bill Gates is allowed to do it. Like, it's a huge feat to pull off, and I like watching it. You know, it's another ritual for the humans. I don't know if we're gonna see it. I'm not watching it online. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, I don't know. What else? Did I miss anything else? Any other articles we had?
I mean, we have a few things that we can fill with. We only got a couple of minutes left here.
I sent you a lot.
There is a slew of stuff up here.
I sent you a lot, and then I got like really sidetracked on robots and mind erasing this week.
What I'm trying to do is go through this and not get into anything that's going to get us stuck on any longer than 60 seconds. And I don't see anything that we're not going to want to completely disseminate for about 15, especially. And we might have to get into this on Monday, but we do have a video here of a hot mic moment in China between Putin and Xi. Right. Both 72 caught casually chatting about living to 150 plus years old.
That's right.
This ties into me and Shane talking about people bathing in children's blood and organ transplant. I think they contributed solely to organ transplants.
Delicious Nuggets, you said I need to check out knees over toes guys workout. I don't know what that is, but I'm down for anything. It's like everything I've done from all my barrel racing days on a horse and being thrown off horses, kicked by horses, bitten by, I've had fingernails totally ripped off by horses' teeth, and then the band years and then the furniture mover years. 40, it's like immediately all of it was like, here we are. Here's all the pain. And so I live in pain. It is what it is.
Life is pain. Shane Cashman is a goth kid, guys.
I mean, have you seen the pictures? Somehow Milo Yiannopoulos got the pictures of me as a goth kid.
Were you in mascara with like a chain wallet hanging out at like Hot Topic with like those Jeff Hardy things on your arms?
I did look like Jeff, yes, I did have the fishnets on, and what else did he post? It was me with spiky hair. The chain lock that I made myself at True Value.
Did you have the good Charlotte Benji Liberty spikes at any point?
I didn't have Liberty spikes, but I did have spikes. Yeah. Probably why my hair is falling out so much now. It's like the amount of gel and hairspray I put in my hair to make those spikes not healthy. Also probably affected my brain.
Well, according to science, it's a natural lack of testosterone that happens when you're approaching the age that we're approaching.
No, dude, the testosterone's through the roof. I get that tested. That's all fine. I think I did to my brain what they said we did to the ozone layer, and there's a hole in it. And
just put too much hairspray on it and just dissolve the ozone layer around your head that was protecting your hair.
Yeah. There's no ozone layer for real, but there is a hole in my brain.
What if I told you that your hair was an illusion?
Is it? It might be. It will be soon enough.
Your residual digital self-image.
Ooh, there we go.
Is put there to make you believe that you are attractive. Yeah, and that having hair is an attractive thing.
And I don't need it anymore. So my wife is stuck with me. I love you, babe. But let's do it. That was fun. I see people talk about cold chamber now. I love this chat. You guys are the best.
Our chats are really fun.
Yeah, seriously, you guys rule. It is so much fun. The comments you guys give are the greatest. Seriously, you make us laugh constantly. All the time.
Sometimes more than I want to. There's other times I have to pull my face off camera and laugh at things because we're talking about super serial shit, and I can't, be sitting there laughing at it. Jeff Sperandeo says, "What is smegma? You don't want to know. I promise you that."
Oh, man. Well, Brandon, let them know where to find you.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. As always, we will see you guys on Monday. You can reach me at Brando Inverted on Insta and on X. It is always a pleasure hanging with you guys. Short week, but a great one. We will see you back next week for more Tales Inverted. Don't forget to stay weird. Shane, get us out of here.
Guys are the best. Thank you for joining us this week. It's been a great week. And we just hit 58,000 subscribers on YouTube. Whoop. So thank you so much for that. The more you like and share, the more we get to do this. And it's a blast. So thanks again for everyone who called in. You guys rule. Thanks for the laughs. And I hope you all have a great weekend. See you next time. Good night.